Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and what a day 5 of the Super Week we have just had. So many game 5s all across the park. The final one of the day, Dallas Empire versus the New York Subliners. Absolutely phenomenal series. Clayster versus his old team. It does not get too much better than this. So much stuff to get into today. Let us crack on with it. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Really helps out by the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, Subliners say this. Resilience has been the story of Clay's career really. And well, he faces his former team, the Dallas Empire, that dropped him after winning the World Championship in just a few hours' time from when this tweet went live. But before that, we had a number of other great series. The first one being at Los Angeles Thieves versus the Royal Ravens. LA Thieves looking to extend their advantage in Group A up to a 4-0 record. As they did, Ravens dropped down to 0-4 after this defeat. And well, once again, Los Angeles Thieves looking pretty good. I mean, Slasher has really so far this season not been an absolute dominant force as we expect him to. This season though, he really did turn up, and that is certainly a scary sign for the opposition. They win map number 1, 251-37, really run away with it right to the end of this one. Then we go into game 2. I mean, this was a Garrison Search and Destroy classic. Every round is defense, apart from the very final one, where, well, Royal Ravens kind of throw their defense, you could argue, and Los Angeles Thieves end up taking this down 6-4. Definitely they looked somewhat better at times, Ravens, especially when we go into the map 3. Parasite had a really important 3-piece here over at well to get this control point, and then they actually were able to close out an offensive round on Garrison control, and well, that's not an easy thing to do by any means. They do so, that wins them the map. But then we go to game 4, and well, once again, Los Angeles Thieves turn up when it matters. They win Garrison 251-92. Very close affair, as you can see. Early on, it looked like Ravens were going to push this to a game 5, but Thieves turned up when it matters. They take the series 3-1. Kind of unfortunate for Ravens. Like, at times they looked somewhat solid. This was an incredible 3-piece from Kenny. So many highlight moments, really, from a number of players at this map for the Thieves. Just, well, shows a different class that they have compared to the Ravens at the current time. And, well, that would set them up in a great position. If Dallas had gone on to lose to Subliners later in the day, Los Angeles Thieves would have been locked as the number 1 seed from Group A, with FaZe already locked as the number 1 seed for Group B. We'll talk about exactly what the groups look like after the end of the day in, well, right at the end of the video. So Thieves win this one in a 3-1 fashion. Beams from the captain. Slasher, 1.46 overall KD for the series. Impressive stuff from him. And, well, when he's turning up like that, the rest of the team is certainly good enough on this game to get them through a series. Then we get Legion versus Toronto Ultra. This, again, a very interesting one. Paris go up 1-0. This was a map which, once again, Toronto just love to choke in close situations, don't they? Especially when I decide to pick him as winning the series in my pick'ems and everything. But yeah, so it goes down to the wire again on raid hardpoint. And, you know, they lost 250-247 the other day to FaZe on this one. And here they lose 250-245 or 225, sorry. It was very much a close affair, but well, Paris Legion, fair play to them. They get the job done. Scraps goes absolutely off this map, so fair play to him. Great to see that he was absolutely frying in the league, to be honest here. Especially given that London had just, well, had a difficult result just a couple of hours earlier. And, well, Scraps certainly showing them what they are missing, as I pointed out right here. Then we go into the Search and Destroy, and this was like, okay, what is going on right here? After looking pretty good in game 1, Paris just, well, completely throw this Search and Destroy. It was looking like FaZe versus OpTic all over again, but Ultra just dominate a load of the rounds. This is why I thought that Ultra win this series, was because their Search and Destroy has been so good. I don't even think they'd lost one so far, and well, Paris honestly threw this round so hard, it was incredible. Scraps challenged for no reason, then Methods gets put into a 1 versus 2. There was a 1 versus 4, and clutches out the first 1 versus 4 that we are going to see this season. I'm sure a lot more to come. Honestly, it was crazy how much Paris choked this, right? Like, Classic decides to go for the flank right here. Method just checking the double window room, picks off Classic, and then Aqua's inside the room trying to, well, hold off the defuse. He gets kind of scared of Methods. Methods peeks the corner, and Aqua decides to jump out the window, which is obviously not going to play to make, given that Methods has to re-peek if he wants to win the round. But regardless, Methods clutches a 1 versus 4. Very impressive stuff. Not an absolutely critical game, though, because then they go into the control, and yes, they do end up winning this. Actually, before we get into that, Formal just says, I just know that 1v4 will be referenced at least 50 times over the next few months in TeamSpeak from Methods, saying that, yeah, Methods is certainly not going to let anyone live that one down. Then we go into the game 3, though, and this was very comfortable for the Ultra. They absolutely dominate the control. It looked like they were going to run away with this series, but then we go to the hardpoint on Garrison, and this one, once again, it looked like Toronto had a massive lead. You can see here after this third rotation, or third hill of the second rotation, there were over 200 points. Paris had barely broken out of 120 points, but then look at this comeback they make at the end. I mean, this was an Ultra throw from the Ultra, and well, they lose this one, and they kind of lose full into game 5, and on Miami Search and Destroy, Scraps has a massive couple of rounds, and Paris Legion ended up taking it home. So yeah, massive loss, to be honest, a huge series win. Can't understate this from the Paris Legion. It looks like they are probably the team. It depends how things go, actually, because if Los Angeles Guerrillas win their match and Paris lose to Atlanta FaZe, I think that actually LAG will be the team that gets into the top 3, because they hold the tiebreaker over Paris Legion at the present time. But a massive series for Paris to win to actually get into top 3 at the groups, which is certainly a possibility at the present time. And well, that's not something I expected to be saying before this season begun. Very impressive from them. As Cammy says, they're embarrassing how bad we are at hardpoint right now. And well, definitely showed for Toronto Ultra, and they are not going to be starting from the winners bracket, it does seem. So it's breaking point to say here, look, 3-2 to Paris Legion at the end of it. They definitely clutch up in that final game. And well, this is kind of how the seeding stand, as I said right here. We'll look at exactly how that looks right at the end of the video. Let's get into the big series of the day then. So this is the one that everyone was waiting for. Dallas Empire versus New York Subliners. We saw these two teams match up at the Kickoff Classic. It was then that Dallas 3-0'd New York without too much issue. But here, clearly New York were much better. Their last 2 matches against the Royal Ravens and the Rokkr, they 3-0'd both of them, right? They're on a 6-map streak. Asim was going crazy, Clayster's going crazy, and well, it seemed like they were going to continue that momentum. Clay did talk about 0-4 in flips, that being like the coin flip that you do before the match to determine who gets, like, I guess, A or B team, that which then determines who chooses the vetoes and stuff like this. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it may have meant that New York didn't exactly get the maps they wanted, potentially also in the latter half of the series, as we saw it come back to bite them. So as COD League say right here, this was the map number 1. I mean, honestly, unbelievable stuff. We go to checkmate. Clayster's absolutely going off. The entire team looks on fire. I mean, it's incredible to see a team that with this great cohesion, every time you go to one of these players, every time the observers go to one of these guys, they're popping a 2-piece, popping a 3-piece, max turning on people left, right, and center. Phenomenal map. They look so cohesive, bringing their momentum in from earlier in the week. And New York Subliners take game number 1. As you can see, Clayster super hyped up right here. They cannot handle us at the present time. They take the momentum into game 2, once again on checkmate. I mean, honestly, it looks like Dallas are going to bring this one back there for 1v2. Clayster gets the bomb down, then clutches a pretty sick 1v2 up against Crimsix and ILLey to show them who's boss, right, and end up taking down this round. And the rest of the series, or the rest of the map, pretty much went in a similar way. New York looked so good on this game number 2. They end up closing it out as well. Here comes ILLey flying out the window. Clayster takes him down, teaching the kid a lesson right here, and well, making a statement to the Dallas Empire that they made a mistake dropping him at the end of last season. And Chance says, I need the comms from this series. Diamond Con clutched a crazy 1 versus 2 as well. I mean, honestly, it was an incredible map. And as Formal says, if I was Crim in this series and I heard Maven saying I'd literally lose full, Clay is just rocking Crim. Clay has killed Crim 17,000 times so far in this series. It seemed like Clay was absolutely dominating and making an absolute statement. Then we go into the control, and a similar thing seems to be happening. The very first round of the control, I think it was 4-3 in terms of live count or something like that. And well, New York end up closing it out. As Subliners say here, Clay's Revenge Tour, map 2, it's a 2-0 lead for the guys. And as Brian Saint says, so far this is looking like Clay's best game individually since all the way back in Advanced Warfare. Been going crazy this month, and well, you've got to say fair play, he certainly has. However, we go into this control, and this is where it gets incredible, right? So Subliners are up in the map. It certainly looks like they're going to close it out. There was like 14-7, I think, in terms of lives. I was almost certain that New York were going to close this out. It was 2-1 in the map. They had a massive live count advantage. It seemed like it was going to go their way. But ILLey and Co get a massive couple of kills. They break over to that B point, and they actually cap it just in time. And just after it capped, the skirt music that comes up, you know how it goes at this point. It's been stuck in my head all week. That comes on, kind of, I think the production thought that it was over, right? They thought it was over. They were ready to push the trigger, and well, they played the music, but actually they hadn't won the map. It went to 2-2. It went to the final round, and Dallas Empire actually clutched up this final round. And well, this really was the beginning of the collapse. So they clutched at this final round. Honestly, unbelievable clutch factor from the Dallas Empire. This really just showed their championship mentality, right? Because they haven't been playing great, we've got to say, these last couple of weeks, but they really turned up when it mattered here. Huke had a massive couple of rounds. ILLey especially had a huge 3-piece, I think, towards the ends. And Crimsix and Shotzzy we're going to see crazy things out of in the very next map. So they go to Garrison Hardpoint just after this one, as aBeZy says, oh no, New York threw that one away. The absolute mega toss. And this as well, that COD Gamepedia noticed. New York Subliners had retweeted Clayster's classic tweet from 2015, throw me to the wolves and I'll come back leading the pack, implying that, well, they believed the series was over. They'd done this, and well, guess what? They lose the map. They go to game 4. Look what happens right here. Shotzzy and Crim combined for like 69 kills, 46 deaths or something crazy. They drop like a 1.5 KD between them. They absolutely go off right here. And well, Dallas run away with this map at the end, 250 to 171. Go to game 5, a Miami Search and Destroy, a map that Dallas were 2-0 on and New York were 0-1 on. As Octane says, these are the kinds of series that makes me love Call of Duty. So many great storylines, so many things going on all across the park, and the series did not disappoint one little bit. And well, Huke the Nuke just turns up this final map. So many crazy moments here as well. Like, it was super back and forth. The defense was looking pretty good. Shotzzy had a crazy 3-piece to start off the game, and he also had a 1v2 towards the end as well, taking down Clayster in the 1v1 especially. And Huke as well. Look at this gunfight he wins on Diamond Con. Just absolutely disgusting shots from him. The centering out of control. Well, Dallas go up 4-2. They go up 5-2. They lose one round and close it out in a 6-3 fashion. For the first reverse sweep of the entire season. I was actually thinking before this series began, or even earlier today, are we going to see a reverse sweep? Like, I don't think there's been one quite yet. I looked it up, that wasn't the case to my understanding, and well, Dallas Empire pull it off here, and what a time to do it. It's got to be, I can't overstate enough how important this series was for seeding. If Dallas had have lost this series going down 2-0, they would more than likely have been in the losers bracket for the major, which would have meant that maybe we don't even see them against OpTic or something like that, right? If they were starting in losers, their chances of winning the tournament are basically over. So this was a absolute must reverse sweep for the Dallas Empire, and they managed to do it, right? And New York threw this one away. Remarkable to see, right? Because, I mean, their composure seemed great in the last few maps they played. They were certainly on a roll. They were on an 8-map in a row streak, and well, it gets broken on one map, and it seems like their composure kind of falls apart. They certainly lost a bit of full here in these couple of maps, and well, and that's a scary sign, right? I was looking at subliners thinking, where do they line up in the power rankings right now? Are they somehow number one, like out of nowhere? But yeah, it doesn't seem to be the case. Seems like they are human after all, and well, when they lose a couple of maps and lose a bit of composure, they definitely can be taken down, and Dallas showed an incredible amount of clutch factor here. I mean, honestly, what a series. Can't say too much more about it. As Slasher says, complete collapse, and well, also from Clayster right here, lost full, GG's to Dallas, lost in a 3-2 fashion. So remarkable stuff, and I'm sure we'll have to talk about this in more detail tomorrow as well, because a phenomenal series. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts, of course, in the comment section below. This is how things stand then at the end of the day. So in Group B, we are looking first of all at Paris at 2-2. They are the most likely team, I think, to get out of this group. But if Paris lose to Atlanta FaZe as we expect them to, but then again, FaZe are locked in the number 1 seed. So actually, there's not much to play for here for FaZe, but for Paris, there is an awful lot to play for. And if the Los Angeles Guerrillas then beat the Ultra, then LAG win the tiebreak over Paris, meaning I think LAG will actually get that 3rd spot. And of course, the top 3 are the 3 that go to the winners bracket, which is certainly where you want to be. Now we look at Group A, and actually, it's now between the Thieves. They don't get locked in as number 1 seed. If Empire beat them on Sunday, actually, Empire will take that number 1 seed, and still, subliners Rokkr, they can still fight out for that 3rd place spot, right? So still, there's something to be played for here, and well, that would have been a massive series win for subliners. It certainly was for the Dallas Empire. So much stuff to discuss here. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.